entertainment to keep us busy or diverted. So it's bred in circuses, like they said. The reason that Rome fell was not so much the barbarians coming in, it was the Romans could not afford to keep the bread and circuses going every day.
Mm-hmm.
They want efficiency, you see.
Yeah.
And Huxley said it himself. Huxley said he saw no reason whatsoever why a scientifically created society and a scientifically dominated society could not run the world and everyone in it forever. See? And that's what we're seeing. So that's one part of it, is total efficiency. They won't need newspaper reporters and media and entertainment, etc.
Yeah.
in the future. And the second part of it is to do with the religion of ownership.
Yeah.
It goes back into ancient times, because a brand on an animal was a sign of ownership.
Yeah.
And that was total domination of the animal by the owner. They did the same thing with slaves. They used to brand them. And what you're seeing now is the same old religion, ancient religion of commerce, mercantile law, which runs the whole world,
Yeah.
and the religion behind it, which must dominate everything on the planet and own everything. See, once you're chipped, it's a legality. They now own you. And people don't realize this. This is more than just signing your name out. Even the word sign, to sign something, is an occultic term. People sign their names all the time.
Yeah.
And yet they give you a rule book, which is an esoteric meaning all through it. But it tells you even exoterically to give no oath. Now, when you sign something, that's the same as an oath. They're telling you not to do it. So stupid you if you do.
Yeah.
That's the way this Masonic system works.
Yeah, of course. I mean, exactly. I think it was Jordan Maxwell who brought out a Roman, I think he called it a maxim, that he who can be fooled, let him, or something like that, implying that, if you're stupid enough to buy into this stuff, okay, that's your problem, not ours.
That's right. This whole system is an incredible con game. It's almost anti-human, because those who understand it perfectly understand us with our emotions perfectly, because we are human, while they themselves do not feel guilt or any of those emotions that we feel, but they understand how it works with us.
So why?
And emotion to them is very, very inefficient.
Do you think that could we claim this as a religion for these people? Because I mean, who are these people who basically can disconnect their own emotions like this? Are these people also incredibly manipulated? Is there mind control involved here?
I think it's to do, if we jump all the way back to ancient Greece, and when you realize it was no different the way that news was presented then, apart from the technology, than it is today. When you read some of the old philosophers of Greece expounding on something or a technique and saying they would like to implement this technique to see how it would affect the people, it's just like today when they announced that, it had already been done. And when Plato talked in the Republic about the perfect world state, with everyone being obedient to it, he went into selective breeding for specific, specially bred types of humans.
Yeah.
Now, we always think he's talking just about the workers, but the upper management themselves are specially inbred.
Yeah.
If you want someone to be psychopathic to an extent, and have a lack of emotion for a high-level bureaucratic job, which is more important than a politician's, because the bureaucrats work there their whole lives. They're through different parties in and out of parliaments. It doesn't matter. The bureaucrat's there for life. He knows the agenda of his department, and he works quietly away at it, regardless of who is affected by the policies.
Yeah.
And you can breed emotions out of people the same way as you can physically alter them. You can actually breed emotions out by selecting the right male and female and interbreeding them down through centuries.
Ah, interesting. So we could have, similar to as we do with, I guess that humanity have been doing with dogs for hundreds of years now, breeding them with each other and develop this line of a dog that is according to your needs, so to speak.
Yeah, if you want a well-managed, happy dog that gets on with a family, you get a Labrador.
Yeah.
If you want something that's a bit more vicious or has the capacity to be vicious, you'll get a guard-type dog. And you can be pretty well sure when you buy a pedigreed dog as a puppy of the personality it's going to develop because it's so inbred. And it's the same with people. If you want psychopathic types who would have intellect, you can certainly breed them up for intellectual abilities. Not general intellect either, they're specialized. If you want a good mathematician, you will breed them up with a woman who's a good mathematician. Then you'll inbreed or outbreed certain qualities to get the perfect personality that you want to go with that.
I guess that
and
would
it's
be...
the same with any kind of science.
And I guess that would be, China, I guess, would have the... and I guess parts of Japan also, because, they're kind of... What I can pick up from over there, they're developing this kind of corporate civilization, basically, where you live for the corporation, and I don't know if they pick your partners for you at this point, but
yeah, well, this is how it works. In fact, this works in masonry too.
Mm-hmm.
A first generation mason cannot go beyond the 33rd degree.
Right.
Now, what they do is the Grand Master will approach you and casually say something like, "Come to dinner, I'll introduce you to this nice young lady," etc., etc., if they want you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take the hint when he suggests that this person will make a good marriage partner, that's an order if you're wise. And that's what they say, a word to the wise. When that is said, you're hearing an order. And if he marries that woman, that means that she's been selected through interbreeding through Masonic families as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your offspring with that woman can go higher. They can go up to the 45 degree.
Yeah.
Second generation. The third generation can go the whole way. That's what it means.
Yeah.
The third generation.
Okay, interesting. And quickly a side note here. Can we connect this also with, there are a lot of, I guess, in the Hindu religion and also, I guess, within Islam, where they pick, your partners for you. Can we pick up a trace from that there also?
Absolutely. In fact, you'll find that pretty well all the religions that we have can be traced back to India.
Yeah. You talked about
all
this.
of them.
Yeah. So this
many of the stories, and even in the Old Testament, were borrowed right out of the Hindu religion.
Yeah. Interesting. And Alan, I've heard you mention, that there are, and I've heard also others, of course, but I think I've heard it from you first, that there actually are 360 degrees in Freemasonry. And have you stumbled upon any documents for this? Because I haven't seen it from, I guess, from within the own from internal, I guess, sources, Masonic documents or anything like this. Have you kind of?
Yes, you'll find them in certain branches of Freemasonry.
Okay.
Where they'll talk a little bit more openly about it, especially if they want younger ones to go in.
Mm-hmm.
The OTO, the Order Templi Orientis, which is chartered. It has a Masonic charter from the English Grand Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
The OTO goes up to 96.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
And then you have other ones, and that's in their own writings. You can send off for them, in fact. They'll give it to you. And there's higher ones above that. See, once you get into, you've done the York Rite, and you've done the Scottish Rite, and you become the Odd Fellow, and you join these organs, now the sky's the limit. You go on and on. The ones who are still in the lower orders are not supposed to even know there's anything beyond what they're told.
Yeah.
Because they themselves are a good front, a good unwitting front. In fact, they'll defend Freemasonry to the last at the bottom, even though what they've been fed is a lot of lies at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, and it feels like it's basic psychology, because if you are on the inside or a part of this, I guess you could say that you have a sense of feeling that you actually know what's going on because you're on the inside. And then, a person comes from the outside trying to tell you something, about the lodge or something. I mean, I guess it's a huge, stamp on the ego for that person. So.
Yes. And see, then above the usual orders, you come into the noble orders.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're into the noble orders, you want to get knighted by the Queen of England. I mean, I guess Kissinger went and got knighted from there.
Yeah.
The ex-mayor of New York after 9/11, he got knighted over there.
Bono just
These are all American citizens.
Yeah, and Bono just got knighted, right?
Yeah, because he's helping the world bankers to keep their debt scam going.
Yep.
And so yeah, even the top of the mafia bunches that want to be knighted, which seems weird at the time. Bronfman, old Bronfman, who started up the Bronfman dynasty, through the Prohibition era, the gangster era, he had billions of dollars, really, and the drugs, too, that he pushed. He used to give massive amounts of money to charities that the Queen subscribed to. And to his dying day, he really thought that he had a chance of being knighted by the Queen. That's all he wanted.
Yeah.
So there's a bigger ritual involved here of getting into a much higher form of masonry.
Yeah.
That's obvious when even the mafia side want to be knighted by the Queen.
Exactly. And, I just briefly would like to touch upon, because I read an article the other day that, stated that if you're, there are new lodges and stuff like this popping up now and then, and they were speaking about, I guess they were speaking about the rights, to start an order, because we have a name, they call it the accepted right of Freemasonry. Implying that it is accepted, I guess, in the Grand Lodge or something like that. But, do you know how this works? If they are, can they buy the rights to this, or is this relayed through the Queen, or what's going on? Or do you know anything about that?
Well, the Duke of Kent, that lineage of royalty, the Duke of Kent, that's a cousin of the Queen, traditionally is the head of the Grand Lodge of England.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Grand Lodge of England that gives the charters out to every other worldwide lodge.
Okay.
And at one time they thought the Grand Orient of France was a different lodge, but it's not. That they were also given their first charter by England.
Interesting.
So even the ones that seem to fight each other in history all come from the same capstone.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw a speech with the Queen. I don't know if it's an annual thing she does. But by the way, she is the Queen of Canada also, right?
Yeah, the whole Commonwealth, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Africa, even some of the parts of India still claim to be part of the Commonwealth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and anyways, in her speech, she she just regurgitated basically what was written on a paper, but it was